Blackstar amps have been a strangely controversial topic amongst guitar players for at least as long as I can remember. Lots of people love them, some of the most iconic players in the world have been known for swearing by Blackstar amps, and others, not so much. The reason I just showed you fluff when I said that was that he's been known to shit all over Blackstar in a humorous manner, but one that seemed to stick with a lot of people and cause them to sort of jump on a hate bandwagon for virtually no reason. This happens with everything, all of the time. A prominent figure says something against a product or a person, even as a joke, and it's taken as gospel even though it just stems from that figure's personal preferences. Not liking Blackstar amps for their sound is perfectly okay. That is the reason restaurants have menus. We don't all like exactly the same thing. Personally, I'll never own a Mesa amp, for example, because I don't enjoy how they sound, but more power to those who do. But the hate goes deeper, and I won't go too deep into that because I would essentially be copying a video KDH made more than 3 years ago in which he explains in detail why people hate Blackstar so much. That is a good video. If you haven't seen it yet, I'll link it in the description for you to take a dive into after this one. Most of the reasons people claim to hate Blackstar amps for are complete nonsense, like the fact that they manufacture solid-state amplifiers alongside their wide array of valve amps. Stuff like the Silverline or the ID series, the former of which actually being really good sounding amps. But everybody's aware of the stigma around transistor-based amps. Personally, I've never been affected by that. I have one hybrid and one full solid-state orange amp back there, but valve amps are usually a bit cooler, I will admit to that. And here's the thing. I am a reformed Blackstar hater myself. Long before I started this channel, I remember selling my first ever proper amp, a Vox Pathfinder 15 combo, and buying a second-hand Blackstar HT Stage 60 combo amp. I'll see if I can dig up a picture of it somewhere amongst my archived Instagram posts or something. I'm sure I'll find one somewhere. And that amp, I'm gonna level with you, was one of the worst combo amps I've tried. I hated every second of using it, and not long after getting that amp, I got a great deal on a JCM 800 head and cab, got rid of the Blackstar ASAP, and didn't look back for a long time. Now that HT Stage 60 was a full valve combo, and not knowing a lot about gear back then, the mere thought of that really excited me because, tube good. But it ended up leaving a bitter taste in my mouth that only left my mouth around mid-2023, when I tried the HT Stage 100 Mark II head. There's actually a fun video on Andy Ferris's channel, The Guitar Geek, of the two of us messing around with it. I'll link that in the description as well.
This has built-in reverb, which is cool. I assume it's digital. Amps these days don't have... Yep, no rattling.
And this amp opened my mind to Blackstar again. After all, the model that had ruined them for me was from 2010. I was 5 years old in 2010, and after that, I went on to try the Blackstar St. James 50 EL34. As the name suggests, this is a 50-watt EL34 valve head, and I thought it was kinda lame. Great sounding amp, it just didn't pack any punch or deliver tones worth writing home about. And then, I found its slightly darker brother, the St. James 50 6L6. He's adopted, don't worry about it. Anyway, that one impressed me because it packed exactly the punch I was looking for, and so the first thing I did was ask Blackstar if I could have one. And the answer was a resounding, I suppose you could, but you could also wait for the better part of 6 months because we're releasing something you'll like even more. Which I reluctantly agreed to because the fuck do they know about what I like. But that day has come. This is the St. James 100. And to me, this is Blackstar's ultimate redemption amplifier. If you still senselessly hate Blackstar as a company after hearing this amp, you are in the wrong. That's not to say you have to like how it sounds. You can dislike the way it sounds, but you can no longer, in good conscience, dismiss Blackstar as some sort of crappy solid-state amp company. It never made sense to begin with, given the fact that they actually made a better version of the Marshall Plexi back in the day, the Artisan 100 head, but it's especially inexcusable now. So, to get this out of the way, this amp was sent out to me by Blackstar for keeps, but I'm not receiving a penny for this video. And it's less of a review than it is sort of a case study of Blackstar's redemption arc anyway. For the sake of transparency, this video idea was discussed over drinks with the Blackstar people, so take it with as big of a grain of salt as you wish, but if you're going to pretend I can be bought this easily, all that means to me is that you haven't tried to buy me. I turned down $5,000 from Temu for a video, so don't you tell me where my morals are. So before I let you hear the amp, which is of course the point since that's going to put Blackstar back on your radar, let's go over what it does. The reason it shares a name with the little 50-watt St. James heads is that both of those are inside it. This is a 4-channel amp, clean, crunch, and OD1 and 2, with 2 sets of power amp valves inside it. 2 EL34s and 2 6L6s. And these can be used independently from one another, as well as mixed. While most modern 100-watt amps will have a switch that allows you to reduce them to 50, 10, or even 5 watts, this one has a knob. So you don't have to hard set it to one of 3 or 4 settings, but you can instead choose whatever position between 5 and 100% offers the ideal amount of headroom while still getting the fully saturated valve sound, as opposed to just having one 100-watt head, turning the volume to 2 because you have neighbors, and dealing with the fact that you're not getting the full range of sound from a set of pushed power amp valves. So in practice, what this means is the amp can be used to run pentatonic scales up and down in your bedroom, but should you for some reason find yourself playing a sold-out show in front of 8,000 people next week, it does that as well, and everything in between. It's also got an XLR out with cab simulation, a headphone out so you can literally have the sound in your head, built-in digital reverb controllable with the foot switch, MIDI, and a bunch more features. Not to mention that this amp weighs a measly 10 kilograms, or roughly 22 pounds if you use stupid units. Meanwhile, something equally powerful, British, and cool will weigh more than twice as much. The only thing it doesn't have is the classic Blackstar ISF knob, which is sort of the signature Blackstar thing that lets you blend characteristics of British and American amps. Essentially just an additional mids EQ knob made redundant here by the spectrum of sounds you can achieve across the 4 channels. So, I am almost done with the talking portion of this video. The rest is going to be just showcasing different sounds. The signal chain will always be on screen, and if you want one of these amps, any of the gear and plugins I use to record my guitars and video, or anything else, Thoman and Sweetwater affiliate links for all of that are in the description. So let's put the St. James 100 through its paces from clean to very not clean. And you tell me what you think of it, and what you think of Blackstar overall in the comments. Ciao. It does have one thing in common with a lot of amplifiers, and that is the fact that the tight switch does not sound very good at all, and I'm not sure why it exists. I don't know why amp companies insist on putting this on every model they build, because it never sounds any good. The tight switch on the PV Invective sounds absolutely horrendous. The tone shift switch on the Marshall JCM 2000 DSL sounds even worse. But while it is unnecessary and not good, it doesn't make the products any worse because you can just choose not to engage the switches. But I would be remiss if I didn't mention it.